Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you for being here. This is Wander with Bree. I am Bree and I'm so excited to see you all here. We are back onto a normal filming schedule. I mean, whatever normal is, because obviously all of this is still new. This is only episode number 4. Thank you to all my OG subscribers. We officially, as of today, have 31 subscribers. That is really exciting. So literally every single one of you, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. And hopefully I'm providing you with some really good nuggets of things that are helpful to you in your life. So today, we're going to get into something really interesting. I've been talking a lot about ChatGPT. What I didn't understand is that there's more than one AI generated, I don't want to say search engine, but more than one AI generated powerful resource that we have out there. There are a handful, but 3 mega resources out there for us. One is through Meta, one is through OpenAI, and then the other one is Google. So we're going to go through the 3 of those. If you're interested to see which one is better at doing what, then stay tuned. Happy to help you out. Looking forward to it. So before we get started, I want to remind you to please make sure you like and subscribe, but hit that little thumbs up button. Please leave a comment if you have something that you feel like saying or a question that you have. That always helps me out. The more you comment, the more people might find videos like this. Please share with family, friends, anybody you think you might also benefit from it. And then please subscribe if you decide this is something worth subscribing to. So over the past few episodes, we've been talking a lot about AI and travel in general. So today we're going to talk very specifically about AI and then sprinkle in a little bit of travel just for fun. So let's talk about the 3 different AI models that you might want to be using when planning your life, when planning travel, honestly, when trying to figure anything out. So stay tuned. So let's talk about the 3 different modalities or the 3 different companies that we're going to go over today. So number 1 is the one we've been talking about quite a bit. That is ChatGPT. This again was created by OpenAI, and this is the one that most of us are primarily familiar with. The second one we're going to go through is Llama 3.1. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, if they want the L's to be pronounced differently, let me know. Llama 3.1, that is a product of Meta. We're going to be going through that as well. That was most recently launched. And then we're also going to be going into Google. Google is really interesting. It's called Google Gemini. You may have been seeing Google Gemini on your search results recently if you're using Google. You may have noticed that your search results are significantly better and not full of ads. Well, this is a product of Google Gemini. So we are going to go through that as well. So if you're curious about which AI might be best suited for your needs, stick around as we break down their strengths, weaknesses, and unique features. Okay, so first up, let's introduce each one of these models and where they come from. ChatGPT, as I said, was developed by OpenAI. ChatGPT is known for its conversational abilities, so it's great at understanding and generating human-like text. Llama 3.1, like I said, Meta's latest AI model, it's open source, which means developers can tweak it to fit specific needs. It's designed to handle a wide range of natural language processing tasks. Google Gemini was developed by Google DeepMind. Gemini is a multimodal model, which means it can understand and generate text and process other types of data as well. That's interesting. It's the successor to Google's previous models and has some exciting new features. So what are GPT models and their uses? Before we dive into the specifics, let's talk about what these GPT models are and what they're meant to do. GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, and these models are designed to understand and generate human-like text. Here's a quick overview of how they can be used. First of all, they are not, even though I like to say they are, I'm wrong, but they're not. While they can provide information, GPT models are not search engines like Google. Instead, they generate text based on patterns and data they've learned from large data sets. They can answer real-life questions, they can provide explanations, they can even help with creative writing, but they don't search the internet for real-time data. Secondly, for corporations and developers, many corporations use GPT models to improve customer service with chatbots. They also automate content creation and analyze large volumes of text data. Developers can integrate these models into their apps to enhance user interactions, or they can provide intelligent responses and automate various text-based tasks. Let's dive into each model and how they perform. Now, later on, I'll be showing you an example comparing the three and planning a trip to Greece. So stay tuned. We'll go through that. I'll give you a general overview now. So ChatGPT is known for its conversational skills. It can hold engaging dialogues and provide detailed responses. For example, when asked, what's the best way to travel from New York to Los Angeles? ChatGPT might respond with detailed comparison of flights, trains, and driving options, highlighting pros and cons for each. On the other hand, Llama 3.1 is super impressive in tasks like summarization and translation. If you asked it to summarize a lengthy news article, it would provide a concise overview without losing critical details. It's also good at handling complex queries, but might struggle a little bit with maintaining context in longer conversations. Now, lastly, Google Gemini stands out for its performance in integrating and processing diverse data types. For example, if you ask Gemini about travel recommendations for Tokyo, it could combine text data with recent travel trends and user reviews to provide a more tailored response. Also, recently, I have learned that Google Gemini typically can also link to restaurants, hotels, events, and things like that that you may ask about or that it may refer you to. Let's take just a minute to compare the three. Starting off with ChatGPT, I went ahead and entered a prompt specifically about planning a trip to Greece in June of 2025. And then asked it some very specific questions to make sure that I got the answers that I wanted. In typical ChatGPT fashion, it responds quickly and politely with a summary of a 7-day Greece itinerary, going through each day, what I'll be doing morning, afternoon, and evening, including all of the things I asked for it to consider, plus possible extensions for an additional 7 days. Feel free to pause, rewind, screenshot, whatever you want if you want a general idea of this, but even better would be to screenshot the prompt and then use it on your own. Here's an example of refining and growing your prompts. So next up, I asked ChatGPT whether or not it could suggest some specific flights for me. And as you can see, it did kind of that. It suggested which legs I could take, how long they would take, and which providers might be able to book them for me. After this, I wanted to know how it performed with hotels, so I asked specifically whether or not the GPT could provide hotels for me in the areas that it recommended I stay, and it can, which is pretty cool. They also provided links and booking tips as well. Lastly, I wanted to know what kind of recommendations it gave me for restaurants. So once I asked for it, it immediately populated a bunch of restaurants, specifically in the cities that it recommended that I go to, and linked them for me. So that was pretty cool. Now let's compare the exact same search to what Meta or Llama 3.1 has to offer. Immediately we are greeted with the Greece trip plan for outdoor enthusiasts, day 1 through 7, taking us through Athens, Mykonos, Ios, and Santorini. Already this is a little bit more specific in the options for the day, but it doesn't quite break it up into morning, evening, and night. But check this out, the budget breakdown. Then again, the additional extensions where you could potentially go, not just one option, but multiple. And then it gives an additional budget, which I also thought was really cool. And at the very end, it also includes itinerary planning apps. So giving specific instructions of where you can also plan the itinerary outside of this specific GPT. Now let's see what kind of recommendations there are for flights coming from Llama 3.1. So now it's talking about specific airlines and the benefits and the detractions. And then again, booking strategies, which is also sort of interesting. But for an additional planning bonus, they are actually going to provide specific legs and the prices for those legs. Okay, so let's see what Llama 3.1 has to say about hotel recommendations. So now it's providing individual recommendations for each individual island and where you potentially might want to go and why, in addition to the price per night. Moving right along after all of those recommendations, let's ask them if they have any specific restaurant recommendations. And they sure do. So several different recommendations listed in each individual island, and then of course the approximate amount per person. So far I'm really enjoying the sort of trip planning aspect of this. It's acknowledging that it's not necessarily an actual trip planner, but it is providing you with enough detail to be able to provide a potential outline and backbone for a trip. To be able to fill it in with potentially an AI app or be able to fill it in with any other research that you do on your own. And here's the other thing about this GPT that I really like. They actually provide recommendations for things that you didn't know to ask for. This is telling me specifically, hey, maybe try some of these local specialties and products, such as the Greek salad, souvlaki, grilled octopus, etc. And I said, thank you. And then it said, additionally, I'd like to provide you with some general tips on your trip. How freaking cool is this? Don't forget to bring sunscreen. Don't miss an opportunity to try some of the local fare. Are you serious? Are you guys having fun yet? I'm having fun. Okay, Gemini time. Copy and paste our little search into the search bar there, and then kablammy! It actually repeats my preferences to me, which is pretty freaking cool. And then it gives me a proposed itinerary and then every day what I should be doing. Again, maybe a little bit more like ChatGPT, maybe a little bit less detailed than Llama 3.1, but still pretty great. Accommodation and budget and additional tips provided for me as they are going through the plans here. We are talking about extending the trip where potentially I could go. It looks like that I would need to do some additional research on those. And then you've got apps for itinerary planning. So at this point, impressed, but like, okay, doing pretty good job. Not maybe it doesn't pull me away from ChatGPT. Interesting that it gives me a new prompt there. Would you like to focus on a specific region or island? No. So now I want to take it to the next prompt that we used for the last two, which is, are they able to suggest flights for us? You guys, the level of excitement I had when I realized that they were using Google Flights. Of course they're using Google Flights. So this is actually showing real-time actual flights from individual airlines. And then you can just click on it and kablammy! You are right there at your flights with Google Flights. You could actually book it directly through here. So this takes it one step further for your actual trip planning. Holy crap. Okay, and are you ready for this next part? I asked for specific hotels because that's the prompt that we're using. And look, specific hotels for specific dates. You can click on the hotel itself and it takes you right to its review. You can actually book through here, through the Google reviews. You can look at photos. This is really an all-inclusive GPT. This is really pretty incredible. You can scroll through and look at the sort of smaller pictures just like this, or you can do what I did and actually click on the link and get to see a little bit more. Okay, lastly, I asked for specific restaurants, and I will tell you, I was actually a little bit bummed out about this. It didn't really know how to respond to the prompt, so I would have to regenerate it just to see if I could get anything that's a little bit better, because right now, it provided 5 different places and it looked through Google Maps. So I understand the intention behind it, but like that didn't really work for me. Since I'm liking this GPT so much, let's refine our prompt and give you an example of what that might look like instead of just assuming that that's all it had. And kablammy, here we go. So significantly more options here, but see how it says invalid URL link removed? So I decided to go back up to the top and click on regenerate draft. This is a really good example of the fact that AI is not perfect. It's still in its infancy. And here we go. Now we have significantly better suggestions, but it took 2 sort of redoing of our prompts to make sure that we got it right. Now it's going to take us over to the actual website. Looks like a nice little Greek taverna. Bonus points here after I said thank you. They wanted to know if I needed any additional help, and I said nope, I'm great, but good to know. I can dig in a little bit more if I don't know what I already don't know. So when I was researching the 3 different GPTs, I wanted to know where they pull their data. I've mentioned on here before that I wasn't quite sure how accurate ChatGPT was in their, I guess you would say, real-time recommendations, because I had heard rumor that the data came from 2022, 2021, and that actually was not wrong. The 3 actually have a little bit of challenge with one another in terms of where and when their data comes from. Now, Llama 3.1 uses a carefully curated data set aimed at high performance. So it does not have quite the same wide web knowledge base that something like ChatGPT has. The focus here is on quality and on accuracy in specific tasks, making it reliable for specialized applications. So for example, an app that does translations. This would be a fantastic, I don't know if plugin would be the right word. Techie people, let me know. Husband, let me know. He normally sits downstairs with his earbuds in because I get nervous if he's listening. So I'll have to ask him later. Maybe I'll put something up on the screen or something. But anyway, Llama 3.1 could be excellent for other companies if they're working on specialized tasks, or for you if you're working on a specialized task. I used to work for a language school, and there were interpreters who got paid to specifically translate text for people. And imagine if you could do something like this accurately, right? Because Google Translate, not so good. But imagine if you could do this really accurately just through an app on your phone. How cool would that be to, have a college application or have a resume that's translated and appropriately translated? Because sometimes you get the words right, you translate the word accurately, but the meaning kind of changes. So maybe something like this could be really helpful moving forward to sort of open up the world for a lot of people in terms of language. So let's see how easy it is to access each model. ChatGPT, available through OpenAI's API, which is user-friendly but comes with a cost. It's accessible for developers and businesses looking to integrate AI into their applications. Now, there is a free version of this and a paid version of this. I've used them both. I don't know the difference. I'm not advanced enough to know the difference, so just stick with the free one for now. Llama 3.1 is open source, so it's freely available to researchers and developers. This means you can modify it to fit your needs, but you'll need some technical expertise to get started. Google Gemini, access details can vary. Google typically offers access through their cloud services, which might involve specific licensing or usage restrictions depending on your needs. So Gemini includes data from various sources, including recent data streams, which means that they are able to stay significantly more up to date than it seems that the other two GPTs technically can. The latest information and trends are easily tapped into. Now, I believe this is also where some privacy concerns come in, so I'm going to be digging into that into another video. If you have anything to say on that, I would love to hear specific privacy concerns with GPTs. I have heard other small creators on YouTube. I've seen some creators on Facebook that have mentioned that they are no longer going to be creating their own content because they do not want to be sharing it with Google AI. So really interested to hear what you guys have to say on that. Right now, I'm just kind of in the shallow end enjoying all the benefits of these GPTs. So let's move on. We'll explore a little bit more. Okay, so with all new technical adventures, we also need to consider our ethical considerations. So let's look at how each model addresses ethics. So one thing I do want to make sure to say is that there is a little bit of a bias in this script. So I did produce this script from ChatGPT. Typically, when I produce scripts, I will come up with an idea, I will come up with a general outline, and then I will ask ChatGPT to form it. Then I will ask for specific details, and then I will ask for things to be added. I will ask for things to be taken out. This specific script I used in ChatGPT and Google Gemini. I didn't like the way Google Gemini sort of organized the script, so I went with ChatGPT. But I did think it was really interesting to know that when it comes to security concerns, when it comes to AI modalities, ChatGPT did not necessarily favor itself the entire time. That was really interesting. And it didn't necessarily give all the answers that I wanted. So let's dig in a little bit to their ethics and kind of see what the answer was. Okay, now let's talk about the elephant in the room, privacy. So while these AI models are impressive, they also raise significant concerns about how our data is handled. So what does this mean for you? With ChatGPT, when you use it, OpenAI collects information about your conversations to improve the model. While they have measures in place to protect your data, it's still important to be careful about what you share. For Llama 3.1, because Llama 3.1 is open source, there's even less control over how your data might be used. So this means there's a higher risk that your information could be accessed or misused. Google Gemini, as part of Google's ecosystem, Gemini likely collects data to personalize your experience. While Google has privacy policies in place, it's essential to understand how your data is being used. So if you want to safeguard your privacy while using GPTs, first of all, be selective about shared information. Avoid sharing sensitive details like financial information or personal addresses. Secondly, read privacy policies. I know, even though they can be long and boring, take the time to understand how your data is used. Look for key points about data collection, sharing, and security. And lastly, stay informed. Keep an eye out for news about AI and privacy. Understanding the risks can help you to make informed decisions. And remember, while AI offers incredible potential, it's essential to be a conscious user and protect your personal information. I don't know about you guys, but this has been so interesting to me to compare the three different modalities between Google Gemini, Llama 3.1, and also ChatGPT. When I started all of this a month ago, 2 months ago, I didn't really understand anything other than ChatGPT existed. I knew that there had been, some older versions of AI going around, but I didn't really know this existed. So this has been super cool, really eye-opening. I'm really interested to hear what modalities you guys decide to choose and which ones you've been using. Let's review the three. We'll wrap up and kind of see where we land. All right, so here's where I stand after comparing the three. ChatGPT to me is great for conversational tasks, general use, and for me, content creation. It has been phenomenal. It sort of speaks my language, if you will. I feel like it understands me as a consumer, as a social media content creator. So that's why I would recommend, or what I would recommend ChatGPT for, or, generating emails, things like that. Llama 3.1 excels in specialized tasks. So again, things like maybe trip planning, things like language translation. It has that kind of high performance, open source flexibility that ChatGPT does not have. Google Gemini, to me, offers the most up-to-date data because of how it pulls the information, and it has multimodal capabilities. So all three seem to have their own specific benefit. Oddly enough, even though I have been loving ChatGPT, I thought I was a ChatGPT girly. I'm starting to think I might become a Google Gemini girly. Yeah. So depending on what you need though, whether it's casual conversations, specialized application, translations, or the latest data, one of these modalities is going to work for you. And now you've seen sort of how I run through a GPT, what my prompts are like. Random aside, I did hear at one point there was research done somewhere, I'll see if I can find it or post it somewhere along here, that the more polite you are, the please, thank you, or this looks good, or how wonderful, great job. The more you do that with your AI, for whatever reason, it seems to make it better. And listen, it doesn't hurt for me to practice my, what is that called? It doesn't hurt for me to practice my manners. It does not hurt for me to practice my manners, right? I will practice my manners with my GPTs, whether or not they actually understand it, I don't know, but I will continue to do it. And I recommend that you do too, because I've actually found it to be helpful and it definitely doesn't hurt. And a little bit of encouragement from an AI, like congratulations, have fun on your trip, have fun creating your video, has been really fun. So check it out. Say please and thank you. So let me know in the comments what you liked, what you didn't like. Have you been using all three of these? Have you been using any of them? I'd love to know. Like I said, any of your interaction helps me so much. I love doing this job. Filming YouTube for a living, are you kidding me? This is so much fun. If you feel like my channel is worth a subscription, please hit the subscription button. Make sure to hit the bell so that you're aware of any new episodes that I post. My goal originally was to post every Sunday, and now Google Gemini told me that it's actually better to post videos on Thursdays and Fridays. So this week it's probably going to go up on Sunday because I'm filming on a Thursday. I don't know if I'm going to be able to edit in time. Going forward, I will be posting on Thursdays and Fridays, and I don't want you to miss a single episode. So remember, like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, do all the things. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.